solve some specific problems for your servants, for churches, for ministries that are represented here. Help all of us to transit into what you are doing in our own season and time. I give you praise and glory. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Amen. God bless you. Okay, I am a Trinitarian. I came from the word of faith. I'm a product of not only the work that Papa Idahosa and others did here, but purely the work of Kenneth E. Hagin. I kind of have this understanding that it's not just that God is a Trinity and that we are also Trinity. Man is his spirit, soul, and body. I have gone beyond that to understand that Trinity is God's signature. He put it in everything that he made. It's in creation. There's literally nothing you touch that you won't find it. If it doesn't have a triangle, it's maybe man that made it. So I look at water, you know it exists as liquid, then as ice, then as vapor. So I look at the family, for example. You know, is the father, the mother, and okay. But that principle is what you find in trees, in vegetations. The seed, the one that you plant, it goes into the ground, is the father. Fathers are foundation. The one that grows up, that bear fruit, is the mother. You always know the mother because it's the fruit-bearing arm. But the fruit that you pluck out are the children. So we also call them fruit of the womb. And if you look at that mother, if you compare, I'm going somewhere. I want to talk to us about holistic ministry. So that's where I'm going. So I want to show you what's missing. Because it's a trinity. So if you look at it, you will now analyze your work. Now, so if you look at, you notice that the tree stays with the roots. The father and mother are bound together in covenant. They are meant to stay together. If as a root you believe in taking off the tree, you also die. Then if you're the tree, you believe in destroying your root, you also die. The man that made it, the wisdom that designed creation, made it that two will be one. Where does the tree come from? You put the seed in the ground, which is the father. The seed opens. Out of his side, the woman shows up. You call it germination. But you notice that the children, the offspring, stay attached while they are in flower stage, while they are in the budding stage, while they are at the early stage of becoming fruit. But they don't stay attached forever. They stay attached till they reach maturity and ripe. The moment they are ripe, then they have to detach, and then the laws of dispersion will set in. There are some that will fall around the parent tree, and then that, and the moment they start the same process again, developing into trees, that is how we end up having a forest. And this is how churches grow. The same way you have it at home is how you have it in the church. There must be that third stage in human capital development. The first stage is the discovery of Jesus Christ coming to receive salvation. The second stage is the process stage, which is discipleship. The second D, discipleship. But every church must have that third stage, which is deployment. When they detach, it doesn't mean there are no more church members. But this is how we go from one tree to a forest of trees. And dispersion, some of it could be wind, some of it could be water, some of it could be other forces like birds coming to. We'll pick some and move them to other places. So somebody can now travel to Brazil and see another colony of the same family. Some of them is their job, some of them is academic activities, some of them is world trade and whatever. And they are moving. But once we have developed them well before dispersion, then global mission is not a struggle. You are not struggling because you need to reach the nations. It just becomes there. But if you don't put the right thing in them, when it starts happening, it becomes like the church is losing. Like I hear some pastors who tell me that the city where they are planted is a transitional city. People come there, stay for a while, their job takes them away to other parts of the world. So that they have to constantly regrow the church. Because almost every year, either 30% of the people move. You don't have to lose them because they are moving. It's just that the project is a trinity. There is a D1 when you are bringing people out of the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom. You don't only do that. You have to move to D2. The systems have to be put in place to do that. This is pastors' conference, ministers' conference, so you don't preach to pastors. I'm here to add to the project that is going on and see if we can solve a few problems. Help, strengthen, that's all. So, if the development program, the human capital development, the training system is strengthened and is strong, then you are generating people. The next thing is knowing when they are ripe. Because the ripe ones you fail to deploy are the ones that become problem. They are rotten. They move from being ripe to being rotten. They become a new problem again. I made the mistake because before, as a pastor who had missionary calling, I knew from day one that we're going to be going to the nations. So I made a major mistake. We're still young. I pastored first in Enugu after the campus. And then I started traveling. Big mistake. The 4 laws of productivity, my mentor later corrected me. The 4 laws of productivity that God laid down in Genesis said, be fruitful, multiply. Then you can do saturation and dominate or dominion stage. Okay. So he said, until you have done the first 2, you're not ready for the nations. You can't do it. If you do, you're going to run into problems because you have a church that is not yet stable. You have not done level 2. Level 2 is multiplication. Level 1 is pioneering a walk and growing that walk. But level 2 is multiplication. And what do you do at level 2? Is when you have grown enough leaders, reproduce enough hands that can now continue and do what you're doing and maybe even do it better than you or do it at your level, then you are ready to go. Now, remember, there are 5-fold ministries. And when I say this, it's not everybody. There are people that are called to be pastors. They can stay in that parish where God has called them and burn their life like that for the rest of their life. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm aware that we are talking to 5-fold, that there are some people that are also called at certain stage of their life to also go. So the first thing is to build a base. Build a base as an eagle. So that when you finish flying, because no eagle lives on air, you need a place to land. Build a strong base. If God is leading somebody like Pastor Poju on whatever, he can do it at this stage because of the level of training and capacity and manpower he has developed. He can do it. But if you do it prematurely, the system backfires. The same thing with deployment. You don't send out your teenage daughter because you want to be a grandmother in a hurry. You don't send out your teenage daughter to go and get pregnant or to go and start playing around with boys. You are trying to do something good, but you're doing it prematurely. So sometimes in the quest to touch other places, we deploy prematurely. Deployment is the final stage of discipleship. And when I use the word discipleship, I mean training, manpower development. Your manpower, the process that develops manpower, is what will be regulating your deployment. You cannot deploy faster than you are developing. Once you do it, you're going to run into problems. Because what happened, we did this thing. These are mistakes. We made these mistakes then. We're trying to cover the Southeast at that time. We're trying to cover the regions around us. And so people that are still in the process, that have not been processed well, we deploy them. They will go and create problems for you. And when you get there, you find out that the branding system okay, now the branch that you have created, or whatever it is that you have created there, does not look like the parent tree. Okay, so Trinity, even knowledge is Trinity. You know, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. If people are not doing, or they are doing but are not getting results, there is a problem with wisdom. If the message has been preached but the people are not getting it, there is a problem with understanding. What you have just given them is information. When you listen to a minister, you can tell where he functions from. There are ministers who function from the information stage. There will be a lot of information given, but you find out that transformation is not happening. If transformation is not happening, understanding is what is missing. It doesn't happen till revelation comes. So all of these things, you know why I'm mentioning it? All of these elements are trinities.